out of the Pacific 12 Conference and student athletes. And coming up in just a few moments, we will welcome in the head coach of the University of Southern California, Lincoln Riley, will be our guest here coming up this hour of the program. We will also talk with Herm Edwards live here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coach Jake Dickert will be joining us from Washington State. Also coming up this hour, we'll talk with Cameron Ward. Cam Ward from Washington State. I will tell you, we've had every coach of the Pac-12 come by and visit with us. We'll have a lot of those for you coming up later today and coming up this week as well. So it's been a very interesting time at Pac-12 Media Day. Earlier today, I caught up with the commissioner of the Pac-12. I'll have that conversation with you coming up here on the program. But I will tell you this, when he talked to the assorted media downstairs in the big hallway, and I'll tell you, we're here at LA Live in the Novo Theater, and there's two different portions. There's the big theater downstairs with the auditorium, and then there's a VIP lounge upstairs, and that's where we are. And right now, Lincoln Riley is going to be coming over here to talk to us in just a second. Right now, he's over there talking with Brett McMurphy, who's broken so many of these stories of realignment of the Pac-12. So Lincoln will be joining us here in just a little bit. And again, like I said, we'll get the rest of the coaches from the Pac-12 conference coming over here as well. And we talked with Jed Fish a little bit earlier. We talked with my guy, Christian Young. And we got a chance to catch up with Jacob Cowing, yet to meet him really for the first time. So he'll be joining us today on the program as well. So like I said, we've been over here all day long. We've had Pac-12 Media Day. It's been a success. And I think you're going to get a little bit of a buzz of what the conference is going to be like post realignment. And like I said, George Kliavkoff came out, and he was fiery, defiant. You could pick the words. The Pacific 12 Conference is going to stand up for himself, and it was almost to the point where the Pac-12 Conference really put their line in the sand today as far as its future and the demise of the Pac-12. I will tell you, after talking to all of these coaches, is probably greatly exaggerated. So I think you can walk away today feeling like the Pac-12 is ready to go and united. And you're going to hear me talk about this with a lot of folks as I'm sitting around and meeting with people, talking with people, getting a buzz. I kind of feel like the Pac-12 conference is united like we've never seen it before. And you hear a lot of people saying the word Pac-10 conference. And I think you're going to see a camaraderie around this conference. And I mean, you might even have Arizona State Sun Devils and Arizona Wildcats pulling for each other, because now it's about the survival of the Pacific 12 Conference, maybe the Pac-10 Conference, if you will. It is a different feel and a different look than I think we've ever seen around this conference. I almost think, maybe I'm wishing, maybe I'm hoping, but I kind of have a feeling it feels like Southeastern Conference style of football talk, where the conference pulling for itself. Oregon State will be pulling for Jed Fish. You'll have the Arizona Wildcats pulling for the Cal Golden Bears, except for the game that they're playing for each other. There's been a lot of talk of how this conference is going to do in non-conference play and the rest. So we're going to get into all of that, break all of that down for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Again, I'm Rich Herrera back in the studios of Wildcats Radio 1290. Is Dragon Ball. We'll get to a lot of these interviews, so we've kind of changed things up. And if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, we've got the camera on. And again, we'll wait for Coach Riley to jump in here with us in just a second. And as soon as he does that, we'll be good to go. So again, it's kind of exciting to be here at Pac-12 Media Day. And like I said, we're waiting for Coach Riley to make his way over here. He's just finishing up with Brett McMurphy of Stadium. So he's there. Herm Edwards is standing in front of me, so we'll get a chance to catch up with Herm Edwards in just a little bit. Jake Dickert, the head coach of Washington State. Like I said, earlier today we talked with Justin Wilcox. We talked with Jonathan Smith. We've talked with just about everybody. We've talked to all coaches around the Pacific 12 Conference, and we're going to have Lincoln Riley sit down with us right now here on Wildcats Radio 1290. So we'll let him get settled in right here. If he puts on his headphones for us, Coach, and I'll get this turned on. And Lincoln Riley is sitting down with us here at our broadcast position inside Pac-12 Media Day. Coach, can you hear me okay?
All good.
Thank you so much for joining us. Lincoln Riley, our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290 at Pac-12 Media Day. So how's this Media Day been for you?
It's been fun. It's some ways similar to other ones I've been to, but obviously a lot of different people. And, I think a cool buzz and energy kind of for the entire conference right now.
So what are these like for a coach? Because we've watched these, whether it's SEC Media Day, we watch Big Ten. I've been glued to my television watching these, getting ready. And, I wanted to be the guy sitting on Radio Row with the most prep. And I think I've won that from most of the people because I got more stuff about everybody. And I didn't want to have to run stadiums if I wasn't prepared for my call for you. So what is this like for you?
It's fun. It's good to be able to bring a couple of great representatives to talk about your program. It's fun to feel the energy. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of questions. But I think you appreciate the opportunity to discuss these things and discuss the program, especially with all that's gone on and all the changes right now. So, I think especially here being able to do it in L.A. right here close, just a mile and a half from our campus is pretty cool.
Obviously it's the big question that everybody wants to talk about, and everybody's asked you about it as well. And just as I respectfully wanted to talk to Chip about this, I'll kind of ask you the same questions I asked Chip about all the realignment. Where were you when it all came down, was all said and done, and you get the phone call or the text message, you go, oh boy, there's more changes coming in college football, and what flashed through your mind when it became official?
Yeah, our AD sat down with AD and made me aware thought that it was going to be going that way. We had a good visit about it, and we had some good conversations before about just how college football's changing, and we've got to continue to keep an eye on it. Obviously a great opportunity presented itself, and we jumped on it. And there's a lot changing right now, but I certainly understood the reasoning behind it, and it's certainly big news, but I certainly don't want it to take away from all the focus and excitement of Pac-12 football this year.
The guys over Pac-12 Radio, and I think you were just over there with SiriusXM, they pointed out the fact that, for Caleb and for Shane, they're not going to be part of this. By the time that all this realignment goes, remember these student athletes. They're just here, and they'll be gone and doing off other things. So, we need to make sure we're respectful of them. But I wanted to ask you, take a macro view of everything we're seeing in the changes of college football. Realignment, obviously a big thing. NIL, they're talking about the portal, even changing that. What are the pros and cons of all of these changes we've seen of this game that's been so traditional for so long?
Yeah, there is a lot of changes, and I think that's making people uneasy, because you can't predict the future. We still have a great product. We still have a great game with a lot of great people. That part hasn't changed. It'll be interesting to see how it all evolves. I do think some of this will settle. I think eventually we're either going to enforce the NIL rules that we have, or we're going to get some new ones, which will be good either way. I think this realignment stuff will settle down. I think we'll get some direction there, which I think will be a positive thing. The big thing I've continued to push is we just can't lose the amateur model. We can't remove the education component from all this and end up in some type of professional model. I just think that would be a huge mistake. And you think about all the guys and all the people, young men, young women through the years that went to school because of a sport and got a degree that they maybe wouldn't have got because of that, and how much of an impact that had on their lives. And we can't lose that, because that professional sports and all that's going to impact just so many people. A lot of them aren't going to ever make it to the pros. The opportunity to get that degree impacts them all.
I throw this out. I have a national show on CBS Sports Radio, and I hear all these pundits and all these talk show hosts, and they're hurtling towards let's make them employees, let's make it more professional. And I think to myself, I don't think the National Football League is going to want a professional rival in college football, so that's not going to be good for this game. And what happens when the NIL money gets so big and this professional model gets so big? What happens when a kid doesn't perform? Because the National Football League, I can cut you tomorrow.
That's right.
College football is not built that way, and I don't know if all these pundits are really thinking all these crazy ideas through.
Oh, agreed. Or yeah, if you're not performing, we just trade you.
Yeah.
It just, I think that's why. These players are at the ages they are. The education component of it is we have to keep that in mind. They're getting ready to be professionals. They're not professionals yet. They're getting ready for that, and I think the path is there now. Do I agree that players being able to make money off NIL and other things is a good thing? Absolutely, I do, 100%. Do I think